Listen to the voices crying to be free. Can we be the promise that we promised to be? Love and understanding are better than a war. People just laughing because they've heard it before.
So hello everyone, we're going to start the meeting exactly at 8:01 or wherever that is where you are. And our first guest is going to be Jon.
Hey guys.
Hey Jon.
Hey, good to see all of you. This is great. I'm at my house in Vancouver, Washington. I'm a music teacher. I have been for about 11 years now. I'm in the military, have been almost for 20 years now as a military musician. Typically don't have a beard, but I said, what the heck? And, you know, doing all this. And I have a daughter, and she's right here.
Oh.
Hello.
And my wife is upstairs. We're getting ready for another Zoom call right now with family. But I just wanted to talk to my other families out there. And I miss you terribly. And it's great that we can do this. So anyway, that's enough for me.
Thanks, Jon.
Anybody wants to ask any questions?
Yeah, I want to ask, so how old is your daughter and what's her name?
Her name is Lucetta, and she's 5 years old.
Oh, wow. Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you, Jon.
No problem. I'll be back. We'll do this again, I'm sure, but I'll be back.
Great to see you, Jon.
Where is that name from? Lucetta, where is that from?
It's a family name. We actually were surprised too. We were looking for names, and as teachers, me and my wife are both music teachers. It was hard to find a name that we didn't associate with, you know, like, oh, too many of those, or that isn't behavior issue. We don't want that name. So we found Lucetta in the family archives, and we were like, that's a beautiful name. So that's how we found it.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining, and hopefully we'll see you again sometime soon.
You will.
I want to tell him.
All right. So let's start our roll. I think I'm going to pick Meike as
Yeah.
the next guest. Hello, Meike.
So awesome to see you.
It's good to see you all. This is Lily. Hello. She's 12.
Hi, Lily.
She's 12 now. Maybe we should have some better light. A little hard to see, I guess.
Can you speak a bit louder or closer to the mic?
Yeah, I'm here in Stuttgart, Germany. Ooh.
Much better.
Is that you, Meike?
Yeah. She looks very similar, I guess. I'm self-employed as a coach and consultant for entrepreneurs. I help them to run their company better, of course, but also, which is, I think, more important, to really balance the family life and the company they run, so they don't get observed by the company. So that's my major thing that I'm doing, and thank God I can do it online. So I keep running my business, and I try to help German entrepreneurs right now to really keep running their business. Some of my clients really are in a bad position now, but we're trying to do our best to save them and to give them a positive outlook and a future. Lily is a wonderful child. She has to go to bed now, but she wanted to say hi to everyone. She's been up really late since we do homeschooling, so we have to really turn that back a little bit to get back into normal. I don't know what you're up to, but we're doing the whole school thing here, and it's not, I don't have a clue how long we're gonna do this, which is kind of hard for us, but it works. She's a good kid.
Are you a good teacher?
Well,
You can ask her.
Lily plays the trumpet. I don't play an instrument, but I started to sing in the choir again after all these years. I started singing in the choir. And it's so much fun, and it reminds me so much of the Up With People time, because that was a part that I kind of forgot in my life, to really have music in my life, and it's a big part. And I just remember, and I'm happy. But now the choir is shut off too, so we'll see.
What kind of music do you sing?
We sing musical and pop songs.
Cool.
So how many gays do you have in the choir?
There's, I don't know. I haven't counted yet. They don't walk around. They don't walk around with a sign saying "gay" like you do.
No, I know. But if it's musical and pop, well, there we go. That's exactly what we're into.
There's actually a couple of older folks too, so there's a lot of women, of course, and then some. Actually, we're missing out on guys as usual. No basses, nothing, just tenors.
Of course, because the straight people don't want to go and sing in a chorus. That's it. You should try to recruit more gays.
Meike, we'll let you sing. We'll let you sing to all of us.
Oh no! Oh no!
Listen.
I'm not.
That's Jen Prichard.
And then I don't know if you guys who knows that I got married and with Lily's father and about 15 years ago, but we're divorced for 8 years now, and I have a partner. His name is Klaus. He's outside with his son watching a movie, and what was I gonna say? Right. Oh yeah, I started singing in the choir, and he's like, "Damn, why don't you sing soprano? Alto is silly. It sounds weird when you practice." So I guess.
Okay.
So Meike, what
Yes.
day do you have to keep in our schedule for the next wedding?
I don't know. Ask him.
It'll be a long time then.
Bring him in. We'll talk to him.
Well, I'm very personal in that way, I guess. Ooh, Claudia.
Oh, did she fall down?
Fall?
A tablet, not me. Tablet, not me.
Looks like.
I'm still here.
Oh goodness.
Okay, Meike, thank you very much. We're gonna move
Say
to the
hi
next
to
guest.
Valerie.
What?
Meike?
Yeah.
Say hi to Valerie and her family. Okay?
Oh, do you want to tell that story? That's so cool.
No, you tell. Your English is better than mine. You tell. You tell.
Well, Claudia, you all know Claudia was singing in a musical, and I met this lady here. She's the wife of a friend of Klaus, and he was telling me that she was singing in a musical, and she performed in Hamburg in a musical, and I'm like, I have to ask her if she knows Claudia. So one day I ran into her and I said, hey, by the way, my boyfriend told me you're singing in a musical. You used to be singing in a musical in Hamburg. And she's like, yes. And I said, well, do you know Claudia Bieler? And she's like, yes. I was singing with her in Mozart. And I'm like, no way. So the two of them know each other, and I'm a little connecting thing here in the middle until they see each other again, hopefully here in my place. So Claudia, we can't wait to see you.
Yeah, me too. As soon as we are able to travel again, I will come to Stuttgart, definitely. I'm
Cool.
looking forward to. So say hi to Valerie.
Yes, I will.
Okay, I'm going to move to the next person who is not going to be with us for too long, and that's going to be Heather Peaches. Hello.
Hi.
So
I
where
have
are you
Corona.
at? Where are
I'm
you
in
calling us from?
Tampa. I'm calling you from Tampa, Florida. I moved here about 10 years ago. I got married and I have 2 kids. Olivia is 8, going on 18, and Odin is 5. And I am currently a dean of students at a university, and I've been doing that for about 10 years. And yeah, that's about it.
Still have that
How are you?
roll.
Yes, you do.
Well, I can't get rid of that.
Accent is amazing.
Can't get rid of that. It helped that my mom moved in with us this past year to help with my kids because my son is in a wheelchair. I don't know if y'all know that, but he is in a wheelchair. He was born with spina bifida, so he does not walk. So my mom moved in to help with him and my daughter, getting them at the bus and everything after school. And that helps a little bit because she is from Georgia, so I'm around the accent a little bit more.
And how's life impacted by the coronavirus for you down in Florida? You had a student governor.
Well, I think everybody knows, thanks to the news, how life is impacted by us. Our beaches are open in some places, not here. Our mayor is actually pretty adamant that we need to stay home. She didn't do a stay-at-home order or a shelter-in-place, but she did do a safer at home order. I don't know what the difference is. But there are places where you can go shopping and things like that for groceries and stuff. But we stay home because my son has some other health issues, so that puts him at higher risk with epilepsy and things like that, that we don't want to chance it. I don't want to have to go to the hospital for anything if I can help it. So we stay at home as much as we can. I am able to work from home. My husband does go to work, but he only goes 4 days a week for part of the days, and then he's back at home.
Well, stay safe and stay healthy.
Absolutely, definitely. You too.
Singing?
It's so good to see everybody. This is exciting.
Heather,
I'm
are you
glad
still
I
singing?
make this one for a little while.
Heather, are you
I'm
still
just showing
singing?
you the pictures of everyone.
Am I
How is
singing?
Yeah.
Only in my car.
How are you impacted economically as far as the coronavirus? Are you guys working, both of you?
Who, me? Yes.
You and your partner?
Yes, we're both working. He goes to work, but I'm working from home.
Okay. Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, I have one.
All right. Yeah.
I've heard that Trump give to all the people, I don't know, $900 to $1,000 to go to this difficult time to make families a little bit more safe. Is that true? Do you really get money from your president?
Some people do.
Yeah,
Some of us don't.
Yeah.
But not the whole, but not everyone.
Not everyone.
No, not everybody. It's part of a stimulus package, and it's basically my husband and I have tried to read up on it, because when you go to file your taxes, when we went to file our taxes, it actually made it sound like it was a kind of an advance on your income tax refund for next year. So what I know, they have said that we're not going to have to pay it back, but that's kind of what I'm worried about, is that something's going to be different with that, because it was an income tax company that does your income taxes that was saying that. So I don't know how that's going to work. But yes, we did get a stimulus package. We qualified for it. But some people are it's really bad, and $1,200 is not really going to do anything to help some people.
If I can say something, when they're sending the checks now, they actually had to delay the checks for 2 days in order to get his signature on the checks.
Well, that's not actually true, but his signature's on the checks, but it didn't delay it.
Well, okay, that's what the media told me.
Media's funny around here.
Yeah. Well, and there's also some scams going on where people are putting checks in like companies are putting checks in the mail, and they're not the real checks either. So yeah, we were lucky ours was able to be direct deposited into our bank because we had already filed our taxes. But yeah, not everybody qualifies for it, and it's not even helpful for everybody.
Well, what I've heard is that Fox News, for example, say different things than CNN or CBS. I have the feeling that
all fake news. Fake news. Tremendous fake news.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. It's weird. What's really going on? your country right now. Do you believe still in CNN or CBS, or how about Fox? They say something totally different than the other ones.
Well, I definitely don't believe Fox.
Okay.
I don't necessarily believe the others either, but I personally do not believe Fox. But I think you just kind of have to learn to do your research and know where your viable sources are, and it's really hard to get what's really going on.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks.
Thank you. Let's move to the vocal voice that we heard before. It was Jon. How are you,
Hello,
Jon?
hello. I'm good.
And where are you calling us from?
I'm calling you from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, where I was born and raised.
And
So-
how are you doing? How have you been?
I'm doing good. In the past, since I left Up With People, I've had 3-4 different jobs. Now I actually own my own company. It's called Sound Installations. We do home automation. We do networking, TVs, cameras, smart homes. You know, Alexa, turn on my lights. Alexa, I'm home. It turns on your lights and your TV and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I do. I've got 2 boys. Here's number 1. Well, here's the youngest, Journey.
Mini me.
His name is Journey. And this one here, I got to undo this so they can hear. Sorry. This one here is Jaden. Come down so they can see you.
Oh,
And then I have here my wife, which you guys all probably know, Jessica.
yes.
Was with her while I was in Up With People. So we've been married for 22 years. Wow. I guess that's really about it. Like I said, about 3 years ago, my brother and I purchased the company that I worked for about 5 years. He worked for them for about 10 years before that. And that's what we're doing now. So we're a small business. So the government is actually helping us out quite a bit, probably more than they should, but I'm not going to not take the money. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I'm going to stick my headphones back on because I can hear better that way. So we with our company get a stimulus because the way it is here in the states, at least in Wisconsin, which is a federal thing, I actually believe, so it's the full states. If you make as a joint family, if you're married, under $150,000, that's when you get the full amount of stimulus. So then as you make more than that, the stimulus is less. So my wife and I, we make less than that. She's a school teacher and I'm self-employed. So I can sometimes make my wages look better than what they are. And because of that, they're helping us. And so I got full stimulus, but I haven't gotten my check yet because my 2019 taxes had not been filed when they started this thing. And so because of that, my check is being delayed. They don't know how long. I can't even get into the website to find out if my federal taxes have actually been accepted. So we're just kind of waiting for that, which we don't need it, so it's not a huge deal. But then because we're a small business, there's lots of incentives for us right now. We are actually getting our SBA loan paid for the next 6 months, and we don't have to do anything to pay it back. We also are getting a stimulus package that is our wages, our employees' wages, our rent, and our utilities for 8 weeks. And that is all you use the money for. So what happens is you have to go get a loan first through the SBA. Once you get that loan, you use it for this, and then if you can prove you used it for that, it's totally forgiven. Anything you didn't use, you can keep as a 1% loan, or you can just pay back and then you don't have to worry about anything. That's how that's worked for us, which is, like I said, I think it's almost too fair, for us. They're giving us more than I really need because I also have an essential business and keep working time. So I'm actually going to come out on this, which I don't really like it. Somebody else uses it, so why shouldn't I use it for good? I've already done some donating and different things also.
Okay, I think we lost you the last 30 seconds because of the connection, but I think we got the no, it's okay. Any questions from the floor? Anyone?
I just wanted to state that Jon still he lost his hair, but he still had the headphones on, like in the show.
That's true. That's true. Yes, that's probably because I have bad hearing. Not really. I came back and actually played in a rock band for 8 years with my brother and my wife. And my son is now a drummer, and my youngest is a bass player. And my wife helps teach both of them also, but they're also doing it in school and private lessons.
That's awesome.
Great. Thank you very much for your update. And let's move to Lene. In a while since we saw you.
Oh yeah. Hello everybody. Yeah, I'm here in Denmark.
Where are you in Denmark?
I am in Frederiksværk. It's an hour away from Copenhagen.
Okay.
I have been living here for the last 15 years with my husband. I have been married in the last, we have known each other the last 22 years, so we have been together quite a long. We have 2 kids together. Laura, she was here in the beginning because I couldn't figure out this stuff to get the sound working. She is 16 and we have a younger daughter, Maya. She is 13. And we are here in this Corona thing. Trying to figure out what's right and wrong to do, because Denmark this week has been opened up a little more, and I went back to work this Monday. Maya, our youngest, has a brain damage. She was born with it, and she had epilepsy. So we have some concerns about going out in the big world again. And especially because I'm working with kids in a kindergarten. So I am around a lot of kids during the day and going back home, and now she is starting to school also. But we have to, try to figure it out. I think it's a little difficult to figure out what's right and wrong, right or wrong to do. But I hope the government in Denmark have an idea of that this is the right way to do it. What can I tell more?
What about work and jobs?
Yeah, I'm working in a kindergarten with kids 5 years old. I have done that.
So you are now back to work, right?
Yeah, this Monday.
How does it look now as you're post
Totally crazy,
Corona?
because I am allowed to have 5 kids around me the whole time. It's the same kids I'm with every day. And that's cool. That's really awesome, because normally I have 8, 10, 22, sometimes 40 kids around me. Now I only have 5, and that's really, really nice. So you have a lot of quality time with these kids, and you can do stuff you never normally do. But we have to wash our hands quite a lot, and we have to go and make sure that nobody has touched anything without we clean it afterwards. And our playground is, we have some boxes where the kids are allowed to go, and my group, we are allowed in this area, and the other group is allowed over there. And you have to make sure the kids is not going around in the different areas and stuff like that. But I must say, the children are awesome. They totally took this whole thing with yeah, okay, that's the way we do it this way. So the kids are so cool. The adult could learn a lot from the kids because in Denmark it is the adult that totally have a problem in this corona time. A hard time not staying close together. And I know the police went out yesterday and said now the adults had to take care and make sure that we keep the distance. Otherwise, the governments have to go back and say, no, we cannot move around as we already do. So, so far, yeah, it works with the kids. But my oldest daughter is not in school yet. It's only the children from the smallest, in the smallest classes until 5 grade that's allowed to go to school. The rest is still home and is teach over the computer every day. And she's in the last year in school, so she's a little upset about not going to exams, not having her end of school thing, all this stuff going on. So she's a little confused and concerned about that.
And how did that impact your husband, your partner's work?
He's in the police in Denmark, and of course he has to go out and do the work they do.
Essential worker.
Yeah. He is working in a in a special what is it called, special agency in Denmark. So he is doing special stuff.
Good service.
Yeah, service. Yes. So yeah, it works. It works for us. It works. But I have been quite concerned for my youngest child that she would get really, really sick of this, because she was 6-7 years ago where we were really, it was also with her breathing, and we were really concerned about her because she cannot cough and stuff like that. So I have been quite concerned about this whole thing, because we really don't know how sick we will get if we get it. So yeah, so far we have been healthy, all of us, and we have been taking a lot of making a lot of rules in our home. My oldest daughter, she is allowed to walk with some girlfriends around in the area, but that's it. Nobody is getting inside our home. And if I have to meet, I have one friend I meet with, and I will go for a walk with her, and that's it. I don't even see my mom or my sister because they are in Copenhagen, and we have more cases in Copenhagen. So that's the choice we have made in our family.
Thank you. Any questions from the floor? You were very thorough, by the way. Covered everything. So thank you. All right, let's move to the North American continent with Tricia.
Hey!
Let's unmute you. Can you unmute yourself?
Hi.
Can you hear me?
You're a small box, because everybody sees you now in a small box because you're in a low bandwidth. Oh, now you're better.
I'm better?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Much better. Good to see you.
So, yeah, good to see you. I am living in Brewer, Maine, which is just across the river from Bangor, where we did one of our shows. I've spent the better part of my life here. I did my undergraduate degree at the University of Maine, which is just 15 minutes up the road. And that was before traveling with Up With People. And then, as you all know, Marcus and I got married, and I moved to Switzerland for about 5 years. I moved back here in 2000 to go back to graduate my master's in biology. And Marcus came along about 6 months later when he had finished in Switzerland doing his degree. And then we split up during that period of time in the early 2000s. So I am remarried now, and my husband is a physician, a hospice physician. So he is actually on the front lines now. He's working 7 days a week, pretty much in the hospital. But we've been very lucky here because Maine took action quickly. And so we haven't had as many cases, and actually we haven't had anyone, we haven't had any deaths in the hospital here in Bangor that we know of from COVID, from Corona. So the governor was very quick to shut things down and do the stay-at-home order, and she closed all hotels and all non-essential businesses and things. So people have been pretty good about that. So I am a biology professor. I got my PhD in biology at the University of Maine. So I'm a biology professor at Hassan University, which is a small private university in Bangor, about 3,500 students.
Which one is that?
What's that?
What's the name of the college?
Hassan, Husson.
Okay, so we were in Maine. We were not far from Colby, right?
Yeah, that was in Waterville. So that's about an hour south of here. Yep.
Okay, sorry. Yep.
So I'm teaching mostly anatomy and physiology, pathophysiology for like pre-nursing, pre-pharmacy, pre-physical therapy, all the sort of the professional clinical healthcare fields. And I'm also the director of the health sciences program, which is kind of like our pre-med for students who want to go to medical school, dental school, things like that. So I don't have any children of my own. My husband has 3 older children. They are 21, 24, and 26. And so I kind of helped raise them through their teenage years, which was a bunch of fun. And we are just enjoying empty nesting now, and we have 4 dogs. We do a lot of traveling. Well, we used to do a lot of traveling. We do a lot of scuba diving together, and just a lot of like outdoor things. So.
And how is this
We're also
COVID-19
both very musical. So he plays the organ and the piano, and we sing it in our church choir together. So it's really nice.
And how are you impacted by COVID-19 as far as quarantine or lockdown?
How am I affected? Is that what you asked,
I said, I think the line is not so good. I said, how are you impacted as far as lockdown is concerned?
Yeah, so we're allowed to go to the grocery store, and we're allowed to be outside and exercise if we want, or walk our dogs, but essentially we should be staying home. I am teaching from home now, so I record all of my lectures and video record them and put them on YouTube for my students to watch whenever they want to. But our semester is ending in a couple weeks, so.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the floor? All right, let's move a bit south to New York, and we have Ali.
Ali.
Can you need to unmute yourself?
Yeah, sorry. You think I'd know?
There you are.
Now. Hi guys, how is everything?
Good to see you.
Hey. You too. Sorry, I had to switch computers around here. So.
How are you doing? And tell us how are you? Where are you? You're in a hammock in the woods.
I'm in a hammock in the woods right now. Yeah. So I don't know, what do you want to know? How we're doing this? I'm sure there's a method to how we're supposed to say everything, right?
Well, you can have a small recap what happens in us with people. That will be a quick rundown for a lot of people who haven't seen you for many years. You were a New York girl for a very long time.
Yeah, and
so what happened?
I still am sort of. So well, after Up With People, I came back and I started working in film and television production. And lived in Jersey, and some of you guys know, obviously 9/11 happened, and that was, I did lose somebody during that time, and that was right as I had moved into, I was living right outside of the city at the time, and then I moved into Brooklyn after 9/11, which is backwards, which a lot of people did, but and then I've been working in film and television for many years now. Moved out of Brooklyn, not ever expected to, but I did. I met my husband, and we had bought a place in Pennsylvania, and it was kind of like the country house, and then I got pregnant, and Department of Buildings, some of you have actually been to my apartment in Brooklyn, so I still had that apartment for a while, and just went back and forth basically whenever I'm working, staying at the apartment, but they did actually close the building down, so I lost that apartment. So now when I'm working in New York, I just go and stay with friends, or I get put up at a hotel or something, but it's hard. It's hard not being there right now. It's weird. It's hard to not be there right now because you feel like I'm letting people down, if that makes any weird sense. But it's also, you know, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for my friends that did get out and aren't there. So.
Are you still working in TV now?
I am, yeah. Our industry is hurt in the sense that we can't obviously work. You know, it depends. I do have a union, but I left the union when I started having kids. I have 2 kids now, and I left the union to kind of stay with the kids and kind of do that aspect of things. But I started working I got back into the industry probably about 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, and yeah, I have more of a benefit now to be able to work from home, which is nice for at least prepping jobs, and then leave for work sometimes for, you know, like a week or so, and then be able to come back. So it works out good.
What do you do in TV in TV productions? So
I'm now a producer and also what they call an AD, is an assistant director. Somebody else is working, I don't remember, somebody else is working in Canada. I saw that is working in hair and makeup, that's in the union. One of us, I don't know, I can't remember. Maybe one of you guys remembers. One of our friends in Canada. Who is it? Mandy's saying it, but I can't hear her. But yeah, the Canada became a really big industry after 9/11. So I unfortunately never got to visit anybody, but I was in Canada a few times with work too. So the other Hollywood.
And
so.
Tell us about your kids.
You're gonna probably see them here in a minute. I've been running around the house trying to hide here, but they are, Kessler is 8 years old and Delancey is 6 years old, and they are very fun spirited children, and they're actually walking our dogs right now. Yeah, they've been pretty good. We've been keeping kind of like as much of a productive bubble as we can, but you know, as far as just like, I'm just trying to make this a happy experience for them. I've personally lost 4 people so far to COVID. And I have 6 more friends right now that are sick with it. So it's taxing, and my husband's still working, so that's challenging.
What's he doing?
So he works in the automotive field, so it's considered, sorry. Girls, you want to come say hi real quick before you go in? Come here. What is it? Sammy didn't want to? Okay. This is Delancey. Can you wave hi to everybody?
Hello.
Can you see everybody? Look, and then this is Kessler.
Hi.
Can you say hi to everybody?
I think I'm gonna go on the outside.
Okay. Have fun. Thank you. Sorry.
And where are you right now? Where are you? Outside New York? What? I didn't get the location.
Yeah, so I'm in Pennsylvania now. I only go back, I mean, I'm in New York when I work basically now. It's the apartment that I had there is gone, unfortunately. So I, and could not get another one, but I have another friend who commutes with me, like when we have jobs, and we kind of share an apartment, if that's like there's like a room that we basically share renting on. So I'm back there when I have work, you know.
And are you around Philly?
So yeah, exactly. So I'm right around Philly now too. So I'm actually working both markets. I work Philly and New York market now, which is nice because Philly is like a much mellower market and there's a lot more work coming in. So, which is good. And I'm more local. I don't have to live away. I've commuted for New York, but you know, where I was living prior to I am now, it was only like an hour to commute, and now it's like a strong 2 hours to commute, which I've done, but it's not fun. So yeah, but yeah, it's a little surreal. I mean, it's hard, and I'm talking to my friends all the time that are there, and the pictures they're sending and the images they're sending, and I mean, that's like, it's, to me, that's my home, and to see it the way it is right now, it's like, you know, we saw it through 9/11. We saw it through crazy blizzards, the blackout, which was actually a big party. Like, we've seen it through all kinds of things. This is like nothing I have ever seen. You know, it's yeah, I mean, it's just bad, but they're New York's strong, and they'll pull back, you know, they'll be fine. In the end, everybody, you know, the spirit of New York won't die. That's for sure. So
whenever I think of New York, I think of you, Robin, and Renee. And
we had so much fun.
You all these feisty women that are completely a New York character for me.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for sharing this. Any questions from the floor?
Just want to tell you that you still look the same. It's amazing.
You guys all look the same.
I mean, you exactly the same, to me at least.
You look exactly the same to me too.
Oh, I'm totally different.
But I'm really grateful to Mandy. I didn't know about. Thanks for reaching out so that I could join this to see everybody. It's I mean, I think everybody's been going through it. It's been hard here, quite like, just, you know, you guys all know I'm emotional. Like, I was, it's been emotional. So it's good to see everybody's face.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right, back to Europe, and we have Wenche. Hello.
Hi guys.
Hey.
Hey.
Corona beer.
Sure. It's mandatory these days. We have to survive.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great, actually.
So where are you right now? Are you in Oslo?
No, I've never lived in Oslo. I've always lived in Bergen. I almost lived in Stockholm right after people, but luckily I returned. Luckily, whatever. I returned back to Bergen. I've been here ever since. So now I'm living in the house that I grew up in, and I am recently divorced. Yay!
Congratulations, I guess.
And yeah, living my Tinder life. I love it. Michael is just laughing. It's really great to see you guys. I'm a teacher. Now I'm working as department manager for third and fourth grade. And we have had a insanely crazy week preparing for school starts on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
We've been working late hours and doing all of the preps. 7 or 8 o'clock on yesterday, I was doing forms about cleaning the toys outside and all the playground, and I don't know how we're gonna do it, but I think it's gonna be okay. I'm not afraid myself, and I think Norway is has come quite good out of this Corona thing. So I think it is safe. Denmark is a little bit ahead of us, and I think it's going well in Denmark. So yeah.
But not in Sweden.
They have chosen a different approach, and we'll see how that will work. But I think they did quite a few good. They made quite a few good decisions very early, I think. But we don't know how this is going to turn out. I'm really, really, really worried about all the huge consequences for people who are not as fortunate as I am. I have a very safe job. It hasn't affected me in a negative way. I have had home office, been at work one day out of the week, and I've adjusted quite well, I think. And luckily, the government has been quite, what do you say? They have made good rules, and they have paid layoffs for 20 days for everybody. So that's a good help for many people. But of course, this will go on for more than 20 days. It already has. So, but I think the government is every day, every week, they come up with new supports and trying to make it a little bit easier on people. And now we are starting to open up again. Daycare opened this Monday, and first to fourth grade are opening this coming Monday. And the other, I don't know, maybe before the summer, but we'll see what happens.
Do you have any kids?
Yes, I do. I have
Tell
two
us.
girls. I have two girls. One has, I think she has moved out, but she doesn't agree. But I think she has moved out. She comes back and forth. Her father has an apartment not too far away from here, and she has started to live there a little bit more. And he's not living there; he's living with his new girlfriend, so she can do whatever she likes. So she's happy. And I have a girl. She is 22, almost 22.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and I have a girl who is 18. She is living here. Yeah. And she is homeschooling right now because of the coronavirus. And she is doing great. She's not as outgoing as her mother. So she loves the homeschooling thing. And her grades are going through the roof, and everything is fine. So it's not just bad things about this corona. I think that's how it is with everything in life. It always comes something good out of bad things, I think that's a philosophy that I'm trying to keep every day. And it's hard, but I think that that's a good way of seeing things.
And you're having a Corona?
Yes, of course.
No, the beer next to you is Corona, right?
I know. Why not drink it? I love Corona, the beer. I think it's a stupid name for this virus. I want to enjoy my Corona without thinking about all these terrible things.
Yes, when they called it, they didn't really think about the fact it's going to become an epidemic. It's an old virus. We know it for many years.
Yeah, it is.
Well, another variant, obviously.
Yes.
Any questions from the floor to Wenche? Okay. Thank you very much, Wenche. It was good to see you.
Gorgeous as always.
Thank you. And let's switch to Mrs. Cooper, and that's not the Cooper we know. It's the other Cooper, Stephanie Lynch Cooper.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you doing, darling? Where are you?
I'm
South
in
Dakota?
South Dakota. Yeah, I landed back here. I've lived a couple places, but I did land back home. So I'm so sorry I missed the last video. I was telling Ito when I signed on that I watched both recorded videos and pretty much cried the whole time because it was awesome. Okay, stop this. So you want to know about me? Well, I did see some people. I went to the 5-year and 10-year, but when I got back home, I did go back to college for a little bit, but I did start working at a bank straight away, Wells Fargo. Some of you may have heard it.
Sure.
And worked my way up, and then in 2000, I got a idea that I wanted to go backed up with people. So I actually got a hold of, now I'm gonna lose her name here, dance captain. So I ended up going and being a dance captain for, it would have been Cast D&E, January of 2000. And it was the time of my life. It was so awesome. But, and ended up moving to Denver when it was done, but was only there for about 9 months, and I kind of missed home, and I didn't really know anybody down there. But I didn't move back home. I moved back to Minneapolis, which is in Minnesota. Lived there for about 3 years, working at a bank, doing a little bit more schooling. And then in 2003, my dad was deciding to possibly retire quite early from the banking mortgage industry. So I ended up moving back to Sioux Falls and worked with him until he retired. And then I met my lovely ex-husband, keyword, at a wedding, and was married for just under 9 years. I've been divorced for about 4 years now. And I have an 8-year-old named Cooper.
So cute.
He's an interesting kid. I so wish he was here. He would have been here if I would have known about the first one or saw the first one was up. His dad and I adopted him when he was 3 days old, from Louisiana. We're very close with his birth mother and her family. They're basically like a second family to us. Some people think that's a little odd, but I mean, she's like my sister. I mean, so.
Beautiful.
So I have the 8-year-old. Work-wise, I still kind of kept with Wells Fargo, and when I came back to Sioux Falls in 2008, it was either a teller job or crop insurance. The only thing I knew about crop insurance was what corn looked like. So I ended up applying for that and got it, and I've been with that same company, which now we're owned by Zurich Insurance. Been with them for just over 12 years, or just about 12 years, I'm sorry, in July. So I'm a senior underwriter with them, push paper. I'm actually sitting at my dining room table, which has become my work desk. I have 4 monitors sitting in front of me here, as well as my second job now is being a 2nd grade teacher as well to my son, Cooper. Yeah, like I said, I've been divorced for about 4 years, not really interested in dating. It'd be nice if I met somebody that, you know, was normal, but I don't go to bars, I don't do anything that, I go to church, you know, hang out with friends, that sort of thing. So, but yeah, it's so good to see everybody. It's seriously like, it brings me back. Like, it's so crazy. And Allie, yeah, I'm emotional too, if you're still there. I'm so emotional, so I don't know.
How's it not feel impacted by the situation?
Well, that was kind of funny. I was looking up our stats here. If you've watched national news in the United States, you actually would have seen my town that I live in, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We were the #1 hotspot for COVID. We have a huge meatpacking plant in town. And I think now just people working at the meatpacking plant, it's hit probably like 800 people. And within that meatpacking plant, there's about 80 different dialects of language. So it's a lot of miscommunication. But the deaths in South Dakota are at 10, and more people get through it than actually, you know, that are still sick. So the main place is in Sioux Falls here where I live, but if I go anywhere, it's either to the store and back. My son has not been anywhere besides in the house since March 16th is when we kind of started hunkering down. He does go to his dad's, obviously, but his dad doesn't take him out either. But I haven't been impacted. I work, you know, 40 to 60 hours a week still with my job, which I'm very grateful for. My family's all healthy. Still working, my brothers, that is. But yeah, it's crazy. It's great to see. Like I sit right now, you can see the outside here. I see a lot of people walking with their families, which you never saw before. I mean, you saw some, but I don't know. I think I don't want to say it's a good thing that this happened, but I think it really connects you with, you know, the people that your friends and family and that sort of thing in your community. So other than that, yeah, it's been okay. But I love seeing all your faces. It's great.
Okay.
Jen.
Thank you.
Mandy.
Any questions to Stephanie?
Stephanie, in
Danielle?
July, are you possibly up for visitors if we're done with the COVID-19?
Yeah.
I am actually going to Watertown to pick up a dog. So we usually go to Sioux Falls when we go there. So.
And John, it's funny because this weekend I knew you were probably still in Wisconsin, but my girlfriend and I, we wanted to do a girls trip for our 45th birthday. And we actually were going to do a little tour of Wisconsin and, you know, do the cheese curd, like, you know, find out which place. And I knew you were still there. So, but I was really bummed that obviously we're not on the trip, but,
well, if you like sweet wines, Wisconsin's got a ton of sweet wineries too. So
I know my friend is into that. I actually haven't drank for about 15 years, just my own, I don't have a problem. I love seeing all you guys drinking, but I'm like, I got my water.
Well, sounds good. I'll try to look you up when we head that way.
Yeah, please do. Please do. You're more than welcome.
I have to stop because Danielle is about to leave, and I really don't want to miss her before she goes. So thank you very much, Stephanie. And let's get Danielle, because last time we tried to get her and it was really difficult. And Danielle, are you there?
I am. This has to be like 2 seconds or I'll miss the car parade. So
all right.
Yeah. So
Finally.
The snapshot. I'm living in Denver, Colorado. After we traveled, I worked in the office for a little while. Then I moved back to Boston. I was a flight attendant for about 5 years. Traveled around, got to see a lot of folks. Then I decided I missed Colorado. I moved back to Colorado and started working in higher ed as the director of a leadership institute for a university. That's where I met my husband. We now have 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy. They are 11, 9, and 7. Since I've been back in Colorado, I've sort of keep back and forth, ebbing and flowing with the Up With People office. So I worked back when it was World Smart for a little while, then I left. Now I'm a site director for the junior programs. My kids are insane, so much fun, but total chaos. This is my oldest, that's Reese, sassafras. The middle, her name is Hadley, and she is the sweetest, kindest soul on earth. And no, says my oldest. And my youngest, Nolan, is 7. And they have been helping me decorate and create things for a car parade for a friend today. I now also work for Junior Achievement. She's putting her makeup on in there. Welcome to my world, folks. This will give you a glimpse as to why I can't stay on these calls very, very long. I work for Junior Achievement as well, but I have been furloughed. Thank you. And doing like personal finance and business training for students, junior high and high school students. I run a simulation program for them, but that's on hold because schools and things are not in session. So that's been crazy. We don't know if we're running Up With People junior camps this summer. That's all on hold too. I'm homeschooling a first grader, third grader, and fifth grader, or online schooling. We shouldn't say homeschooling, I guess. And it's chaos, literally from the moment we get up until the moment we go to bed.
God bless you.
So much fun. Like I will say, I love having the time with my kids. I miss seeing my community of people, but things are great. I would love to give you guys all an update just on Up With People and some things too, but I'll have to save that for another call, just kind of what's happened in the office and, you know, long-term big picture for the organization. But I feel like I probably have more information than most. So I'll save that for the next time. In the meantime, so
Suspense.
One thing, where are you exactly? Are you in Colorado, in Denver?
I'm in Denver. Yeah, in Denver.
Okay.
Well, in Thornton, which is a suburb of Denver. So I'm about, well, if I drive west about 3 miles, I would be where the old staging and office was when we traveled. So very close to where we all were housed and all kinds of things. So yeah. So
amazing.
fantastic.
Thank you so much for dropping in and making it. And yeah, let's have a Zoom next time. It'll be a bit more about Up With People, and basically you'll be the guest of honor to give us all the speaker, basically.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Giant virtual hugs to all of you. Mwah.
Thank you. And now I think it's last but not least, it's Julio.
Woo! Woo! Julio in the house.
Let me. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
We can
So
hear you,
good to
puppy.
see everyone. I'm on my
you,
phone.
puppy.
Hello, Iro. How are you, sister?
I'm good.
By the way, before I start, I totally agree. It's a stupid name for a virus. Says the Mexican.
Let me tell you about the beer. It's being brewed in Belgium right now. The Corona beer that we all in Europe are drinking is being brewed in Belgium.
Gosh.
Is it?
But
Yeah,
well, I'm in my place right now, and I'm on the iPhone, so I don't see everybody. But I've been seeing text messages popping up, so I don't know how to respond to those text messages. But so far, I'm only able to see 4 screens in my phone, and I'm swiping for me to see everybody. But so great to see everyone.
When we finish this, and I'll put the recording up, you'll be able to see everybody else a lot better. So,
okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
Sure. So where are you?
I am in Houston, Texas. I've been living here for the last 21 years.
Yes.
So, well, everybody kind of knows everything about me so far, but let's just do a little recap. After Up With People, I went back to Mexico. I stayed there for 1 year. I hate it. I came back to the U.S. to work and make some money, and probably go back to Mexico and open my own business or do something with that money. Obviously, that didn't happen because I had an accident, and that accident kind of forced me to stay in the city because all of my surgeries, physical therapy, doctor's appointments, blah 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 blah, were here in Houston. So it forced me in a good way to be here, because as you can tell, my English improved. Thank you very much. And then, a little by little, I start coming back to the Julio that was before the accident. And on that process of physically healing, I was also mentally healing, because I finally have the balls to come out of the closet. So I talked to my parents, and they were very supportive and loving. And then I didn't have any issues with any friends or anything like that. So after that, that was just what I needed to continue with my life as the Julio that only me knew it. You know, half of the Julio, I was just being a facade for being not able to enjoy who I really was. So a little bit fast forward to that, I started working for different business companies here in Houston. I was doing, name it, I was doing a little bit of everything, just trying to make a living. And then I found, which is my boss right now. I'm working for an architectural firm. I've been working for this architectural firm for the last 12 years. So he literally was my savior. You know, some of you guys have met him, and he has been an amazing, amazing friend, amazing boss, neighbor, everything. You know, thanks to the opportunity that he gave me to work in his company, as an immigrant, I started having a voice. I started having an opinion because, you know, when you move to another country, you don't speak the language very well. Nobody knows you, obviously, your skin color doesn't match. You don't have so much of that voice. So thanks to him, he gave me that voice, and which, you know, that helped a lot to move on and knock at doors and people realize who you really are or what you're looking for. Then I started dating guys, obviously. And I started discovering a new me because I knew it was so much here to give, but I wasn't able to do it. And as soon as I started doing it, I was feeling more and more and more complete. So with that being said, 6 years ago, I met a guy and we dated for probably 6-7 months, broke up, time passed by. 2 years later, we saw each other again, we reconnect, and we got married. So I'm married to a great guy. Some of you guys know him, and
he's a cutie too.
Oh, he's a hottie. Yes. So yeah, you know, I'm married, happy. We have 2 places together, and I was exposed to the virus, so I quarantined myself away from him, and I'm being coming back a little bit to see each other physically. We're spending the day tomorrow because I had my test last week and the results came back as negative, so that was good. But we have an amazing relationship, you know. We understand each other. We support each other. I took him for the first time last November to Mexico to celebrate Thanksgiving. So bringing a gringo to the Mexicans to celebrate Thanksgiving, a holiday that we don't celebrate, that was something. And it was really, really, really good. It was awesome. We had a great, great, great time. His name is Steve. And his business, he owns his own business. He is a landscaping architect. So his business has not been affected much by the situation right now, but construction, landscaping, all those kind of business you still seeing going on here in Houston, which is good, but it's still not fully as it was before coronavirus. In my office, we are 25 people. I'm the office operation manager of the company. And right now, everyone is working remotely except my boss, myself, and the person who is in charge of social media. So we have no idea when it's gonna go back together as it was before, or, you know, we're kind of still in a limbo like everybody is. Here in Houston, starting this Monday, the mayor made it as a mandatory for every single citizen of the city of Houston to wear a mask. I don't know how that's gonna work because there has been a lot of complaints, and the persons who will not be having a mask they're risking to have a fine for $1,000 or more. Of course, no one has $1,000 right now because of the situation, you know. So that's all the talk right now in Houston. I don't know what else to say. I'm in a happy place in life. I'll be 50 this year, which I cannot wait. So hopefully by then, which is in November, all of this can go as it was before, and maybe I will be able to travel, so I can give myself a nice birthday gift, which is traveling and probably go and see some of you guys out there. That would be amazing. But we'll see.
When are you planning to do this travel?
Well, if we started, it will probably start it in November. So
okay.
So we'll see. You know, we'll see. I have all my travel plans this year has been canceled, of course, because of the situation, and it's obviously. But that doesn't mean that the travel will continue. You know, at the end of the year, or God knows.
I'm skeptical.
And that's about me so far. So yeah, great seeing everybody. Sorry I missed the first one, you know, but here I am.
Any questions to Julio?
You're gonna be able.
Yep.
So what?
Are you able to come to Canada soon? It's shoesies.
Tricia is asking. What are you asking, Tricia?
Are you gonna be able to come to Canada soon?
Yes. I already told Paul, make the day, I'll be there. Oh, that's another, yeah, that's another situation. I wasn't able to travel because of my legal situation. So 3 years ago, I became an American resident. So that was like super awesome.
So sorry about that.
Yes.
Well, yes and no. So I'll be working on my citizenship in the next year. I will apply for that. And but yeah, back to Tricia's question. Yes, Shoes, I am gonna be in Canada next time when you guys plan that.
Yes.
Give you my word.
When are you coming to London?
Well, let me just literally. I mean, I really want to go, but right now there is no way, and I don't think there is gonna be any way to go. But if I can be there
to Europe, just make sure you're coming to London too.
Sister, of course I go see you.
How is your dad? Julio, how is your dad?
Hey, Tamara, my dad is really, really, really good. Thanks for asking. He turned 85 years old. Funny thing, my husband turned 50 and my dad turned 85. So we celebrate both of their birthdays in Mexico. And it was a blast. I mean, I'm getting a little bit emotional because seeing my dad next to my husband, hugging each other and laughing, even though my dad didn't speak any English, but the language of the love that was in that room, it was just amazing. And seeing my dad in an old generation, knowing that the person in front of him is his son's husband, that makes a huge, huge impact to everybody in my family. So yeah, I mean, it was awesome. And Tamara, he is doing really, 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 really good. With this going on with coronavirus, of course, we're all concerned for, not for him to be on the streets like he's normally doing it, but we can do what we can do with him.
Thank you.
Julio and I get to see each other because my father gets his cancer treatment in Houston, and Julio is a huge help to our family, and to me personally, just being able to, sleep on his couch so many days and talking me off the ledge and etc. So, love you, my friend.
Anytime, I love you too. And anybody who wants to come to Houston, you just show up and say, "I'm here," and I'll be there picking you up.
And he means it. And he'll pick you up with flair.
Hey, Julio. Julio, when are you doing your car songs again? I missed them.
I need to get back to it. I guess everybody's asking. I will try to do one soon. So great to see everybody. I mean, literally, I mean, it's just, this is the highlight of my whole quarantine.
Okay.
Did you
So
say
this
you-
is pretty much wraps up everyone as far as the individual updates. I am going to run one polling question.
Wait.
Ooh.
Robin.
And
Robin,
let her talk.
you want to? Okay, so you want to speak? I didn't pick up on people speaking again. That's the thing. You spoke the last time, but by all means, give us an
thought it was
update.
new people. I didn't know that. Nope, I don't need to talk again. It's all good. I thought you were,
it's just that-
I didn't know you were only doing new people.
Hi, Robin.
I came
No,
very
not
late,
new
so I just wanted to say hi to everyone. Great to see all these faces. Warms my heart. Love you guys. Come to LA. Come visit.
We're not done yet. The idea would be that now we basically can switch, because we're not that many people today. We have 24 people, which is possible to have a conversation without muting everyone, which is, I think, a lot better. But I wanted to run one polling question, which would appear in your screen in a second, and it sort of gives an indication of your level of what you think the future is going to look like. So as this comes up, please answer. It's a multiple question, one question, and I'll let you know in a second what the answer would be. What did we say? So here you go.
I need my glasses.
Can you read it?
Do you think that by Christmas time, things will be better or worse, economically, politically, health-wise, and life in general in your country?
You
That's
put
4
everything
different questions,
in one
Ido.
question, Ido. That's like.
That's
Jesus
4 different
Christ.
questions.
We're gonna
It's a simple question. It's trying to see if your forecast for the future is a positive or a negative.
Same as now.
No.
Just have a second to think about it and decide what you think.
Can we all sing Up With People instead? Up with people. Live in the day where you go.
That's one of the things that's actually very difficult to do. If you sing, we're actually going to hear you in about a second later. And then when people hear that and they sing, you will hear them a second later. It becomes a canon. And completely
Julio, you could dance yeah, yeah, yeah.
For Julio.
Yeah, 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 we could do.
Yeah, dance yeah, 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 Julio.
My friend,
so-
if you only saw Jorge at the reunion, this guy has his moves down still after all these years. He had his moves down for that.
I remember. Jorge was the star of the reunion.
He was the star.
So 18 out of 23 people answered, and this is the overall outlook. It seems like most of you think it's going to be a little bit better by Christmas.
You're just making up the Eurovision Song Contest voting because you're missing that one.
Switzerland,
I know.
0 points.
Germany, no points. Israel, all points. All points.
So actually, one of the things I'm now doing in my choir, I am the vice chair of the London Gaymen's Chorus. It's a very large.
Of course you are.
Of course.
Well, of course I am. It's a choir which is 300 members, and when you see us on stage, we're 180 people. But of course now we cannot rehearse, so we're trying to maintain people and keep them engaged. So yesterday we launched a TV show where I have 2 hosts. I am the technical cameraman, like what I'm doing right now with you guys. And the idea would be that up until the Eurovision, which is in 4 weeks, each Friday we're going to have 5 guys from the choir running a drag version of a song, whatever they're going to do with it, and then we vote on it, and at the end we're going to have a winner. So it's not that we're waiting for the Eurovision Song Contest to happen. Somebody joined in that somebody's saying hello to?
Yeah, Bertha.
Hey.
Bertha. Put your mic on.
Sorry, I joined a while ago, but my camera wasn't working, so now it is.
All right. So I think maybe we'll just go a little, the people that we have spoken before, if they can just say a few words and say how you guys are doing. So Nicole and Dan, how are you guys doing?
Hey, we're doing great. I don't know where Nicole just went. She stepped out. Earlier, she was painting here in the garage, so we moved out to the garage, and Quinlan is here. He's our 12-year-old, soon to be 13, and you probably saw Finnegan pop in. He is our 8-year-old. He just turned 8. But we're doing great. The weather is great today. We've had awful spring weather, as probably many people have. But we were able to get outside today quite a bit, and it felt a little more normal to be outside and doing things. So yeah, we're hanging out. We're doing well. We're doing the not homeschooling like Danielle said, but online schooling, which can be tough. Nicole and I are both working from home. She's a teacher, and I work in higher education. And so we're both able to keep our jobs and work from home, but things are good. We're hanging out. He rides bike a lot. He goes and sees my parents. They're down the road, so he can ride his bike down the street, and he goes and sits on their porch and talks to them, so keeps them busy. So things are good.
Where are you at?
We're in Western New York, so we're outside of Rochester, New York. In between Rochester and Buffalo, but much closer to Rochester. So, yep, things are good.
Okay.
It's great to see you all.
Let's move to Claudia. What's on your mind today?
Hi, guys. Hello. Well, we are doing great right now because we are on vacation, no homeschooling anymore.
Oh.
It was tough with our 3 boys, but yeah, we are done, and we're all healthy, our parents too. We live very close to the was heißt Wald of English? Forest. We live very close to the forest, so we walk every day through the forest, and it's amazing. You meet so many people in the forest since the coronavirus. So everybody gets really touchy with nature, and that's really great. In 2 weeks, our young kids go back to school. And on Monday, some stores will open. So I think in about a month we probably have a normal situation. So I'm very happy about that. But other than that, I'm doing fine. It's great to seeing you all, guys. Yeah. Love to see you all. And Mandy, I really hope to see you soon. I hope, really, we want to go to Scotland all so bad. Yes, my husband loves it. Yeah. So
please do. Anytime.
Yeah, keep our cross.
Good.
Yep. That's all.
Mandy, you're on. Tell us how are you doing?
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hey, Mandy, Nalgas.
Hello, Nalgas. How are you? It's so good to see all your faces and everybody that didn't make it last week as well. It's just amazing, and it's also, I mean, because you can see your faces on Facebook and that, but it's hearing voices that actually is. And when Steph was a bit emotional, that's what makes me a little bit emotional, is hearing your voices. It just kind of brings everything back, and I just love seeing everybody, and it's just great. I'm 1 exam down, 2 left, and a dissertation for my degree. Then I'll be done the end of the summer, so that'll be good. I've had a job interview. I should hear about that next week. So it's kind of all go, trying to keep the kids still doing homework and stuff. And a little bit tough with, if you don't know, my husband owns a travel agency, so you can imagine that's a bit of a difficult occupation right now, but staying positive and just trying to keep things moving. Scottish people travel a lot, so there's still a lot of people he's trying to help sort and rebook and kind of postpone their holidays and things. But
yeah,
we'll get through it. We're staying positive, and I mean, we've got a home and a garden, and the weather's been bizarrely nice for Scotland. So of course, when you can't go anywhere, it's finally nice. But yeah, but we're doing well. It's just good to see everybody.
Same here, Mandy.
All right, let's switch to Jeanene.
Hey, everybody. I am in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. So still in the South. I have my daughter, my husband. You can see her behind me, and she's 7. So we're dealing with the school thing. They just announced that schools will not go back for the rest of the school year, which is pretty much expected. So we're still in lockdown, you know, stay home orders. I work in public radio. I know some of you have already heard this that were here last time, but I'm working in public radio, NPR. And so when you're all talking about a good news source, that is the best news source, I must say, because we try to be balanced. We try to provide both sides of the story and complete information. So I'd say that's a good place to be. Working from home has been a challenge. Doing the best I can. Yeah, that's about it. Living life. Just, you know, keeping busy.
Okay.
Scout
Doing
leader.
good.
And yeah, just doing the best I can.
All right.
Not singing a lot right now, unfortunately, but eventually I'll get back to that. I miss singing in theater, and I did a lot of that for many years. But
none of that now.
Everybody, and just so nice.
Okay. Let's see how Tamara Whitworth is doing.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Hi. Good to see everyone again. Things are pretty much the same here. Well, yes and no. I'm a little bored because I still have my job, but I haven't flown anywhere in about a month. So I'm on call, and they haven't called me because we're at 10% capacity at Air Canada. So I am looking, somebody just asked about missing traveling. Absolutely. I miss it. I miss working. I miss being around people. I also miss having my time off to travel because that's pretty much what I do when I'm not flying for work. I travel. Yeah, otherwise, Jussi, who is my husband, who is originally from Switzerland, is working from home. So he's been around a lot more than usual, which has been great. It's actually been good. You know, some challenges, some arguments, but other than that, that's just normal married life. And so we've been just making the best out of it. None of our family is in Toronto. Mine is closer to Montreal. I haven't seen my mom in a while. So we usually go there regularly. And so we haven't done that. The cottage season is up and coming, but we are not allowed to put our boat into the water. So it's like I'm just itching to also possibly. So everything's around moving and traveling. We love Toronto. It's a great city to be in, but we also have those escapes into more of, you know, countryside, by the water, going overseas to Switzerland to see Jussi's family. A lot of all that's been kind of put on hold. So we're just kind of hunkering down, watching movies, cooking a lot more. The house is pretty darn clean because I've been doing a lot of cleaning. It's like, wow, yes. So, so, you know, spring cleaning at its best, sorting, getting rid of stuff that you don't need anymore. So take all those things that's on the to-do list, but at the bottom that you never get to. So that's what I've been focusing on. So, and doing this kind of stuff. It's been great to do this and reconnect with a lot of you. And when I'm back in the air, and I am able to get back to overseas flying or even to the US, whenever I have a layover, I am sending an email out and finding you.
Please do.
Yeah.
You bet.
Look forward to it. That's about it. No kids, for those of you who weren't here last time, no kids, just Jussi and I, both Upper People alum, and been together since 96. So it's been a long time. Yeah, it's great. Some of you met him, I think, in the past.
Thank you. Tamara.
Oh.
Much better.
Good morning.
This summer. We can hear you a
Good
lot better
morning.
now.
Well,
Hello,
I just
Figure.
bought a new MacBook. That's why you hear me much better. Doing good. We still have Easter vacation, and we go back to school on Monday. Well, nobody goes to school, but we'll start teaching again from home. And so the government plans to open up the school on May 11th, but there's not a plan out how, and so we'll see. But things are doing good. Everything is fine. The house is really clean. The garden looks nice. The basement is all cleaned out.
How's your parents?
They're very good. They're up in the cabin in Klinsrek, you know, that little cabin we went to. And so my parents, actually my mom decided a couple of weeks ago when it all started that they're going to go up there. She loves it. My dad says at least once a day, I want to go home. And then she looks at him and says, no, you love it too here. It's nice. So no, they're doing good. They're really doing good. Yes. Yeah, that's it.
That's awesome.
That's okay. It's a short update, of course. Let's go back to Robin now, because now this is the round where we're going. We're doing the second time.
Okay. So this is Kylie. You didn't meet her on the last call. It's my oldest. She's 12. I have a 10-year-old too. Her name is Morgan, which if you were on the last call you heard is actually named after Heidi's daughter, who's a Morgan. I just love the name and stole it. So yeah, for those who don't know, I'm still in LA, Los Angeles. I'm just south of the city, Redondo Beach. Oh, is that Bailey? I mean, Cooper? Yeah. Oh my God, my dog just farted. Sorry. That was nasty.
Hey, Robin, did you say you're in LA?
I am.
Oh, where?
At me, Mom.
Oh, hold on. Shh. What?
Where in LA are you?
I am Redondo Beach, just south of the airport.
Oh, okay. I'm out there at work, so I'd love to come see you.
Come see me. Yes, please, please.
Wait, where are you?
Please. She's in New York, right? You're still in New York, Allan?
I'm in Pennsylvania now, but I still commute to New York. But I'm like more area now.
Okay, very cool.
A little bit more Philly. I can't do a Philly accent. So.
Yeah. Anybody who comes through LA, near LA, I am 10 minutes from the airport, literally. So, yeah, so things here are actually better. I didn't share this last time, but my husband, who some of you saw him looking before, he has been like super, super sick for the last month, not COVID. He had a very bad stomach problem. And so he was basically in bed for 3 weeks. And so I was like a single parent for 3 weeks with 2 kids and a dog and homeschool and my work because I lost a lot of my work, but I am doing some work right now. I'll tell you in a minute. And so this is the first week he's actually been better. They're still figuring out what was wrong with him, but it looks like ulcerated colitis, which is pretty unfortunate and scary because it's what my dad had all my life and he was always sick. So Eric, my husband, isn't so sick now and I think he'll be fine, but it was a little scary for a while. So thank goodness I have my partner back and he's feeling better and a part of things again. And not that we can go do anything, but at least he's in better spirits. So that's good. And then my only other thing, I work with a lot of charities and my big thing I'm doing right now is a charity auction. So my kids are really involved in the theater company here. They do a lot of musical theater. I know everybody's shocked by that. And so since they're like 2 and 4, like since they're babies. So it's in jeopardy, as many small businesses are, of disappearing. And it would be heartbreaking because it's literally their second home. And so I am doing a charity auction, online auction. I'll send everyone the link. You can bid on items. And so I'm literally like crazy busy with collecting items and hosting them and, you know, all the stuff that goes into putting together an auction. If anyone's ever done one, it is an amazing amount of work. And my goal is to raise $5,000 for them. We'll see. Yeah, so that's kind of where I am. And then I also do some other work too on the side, but most of my clients are gone, so that kind of sucks. So I'm trying to at least use my time wisely. So that's what's going on, and it is crazy hot in LA today. It is like almost 90.
Robin, have they told you that they will hire you again once this is over? Or is it a clean goodbye?
So, yeah, that's a great question. So I do a lot of big charity events, like thousands and thousands of people, and some of them are just canceled, and I don't know if they'll be back next year, right? So it's a crapshoot if they have the event, because it's all based on sponsors and all that kind of stuff. Some of them are right now postponed. So I do a big street fair and music festival in a place called Palos Verdes, just south of here. And I've been doing it for 3 years. So my belief is they'll continue to hire me for that. I don't know. You know, it's one of those wait and see. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It's kind of scary because I just don't know. I don't know where things are gonna go. But I am very optimistic. I really am. I believe when one door shuts, another one opens. So I'm waiting for doors to open. Anybody have doors opening and need a nonprofit consultant, let me know, 'cause that's what I do. And I do it actually for a lot of, I've done it nationally, internationally as well. I advise charities in all areas of fundraising. So grant writing and events. Events are what I mostly do now, but I've done kind of all those pieces. So that's it. That's my update. That was more than I should have said, but yeah.
No.
It's so good to see you guys.
Well,
You're awesome.
we have someone new actually that just joined us. So let's go to Johan, who didn't speak last time. Hello, Johan.
Hi, guys.
How are you?
Can you actually hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool.
You betcha.
Loud and clear.
So how you guys doing?
Well, we're asking you, I think.
Are you? Well,
this is us.
I'm tired. Don't get enough sleep. All you guys with kids know what I'm talking about, I guess.
How old is your baby now?
He's 15 months. So when you last saw him, it was at the reunion, and he was 6 months old. So time flies by, I guess. And he's not sleeping that well, so he wakes up a couple of times during the night, and he wants to lay in our bed, and he kicks in my face and farts in my face and all that. Yeah, good times.
That's how it's supposed to be, Johan.
Yes, it is. It is. But otherwise, it's great. I'm a stay-at-home dad, so my job assignment is to take care of him, I guess. Change diapers and keeping him active and all that. Now when the coronavirus thing is
What?
the coronavirus.
You're not on.
Oh.
No worries.
So it's Julio this time.
This is Jen Prichard talking. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So when the virus is going, Hannah is working from home, and so she's home a lot, which is great. But that's pretty much it, I guess.
Where do you guys live?
We live in Uppsala. Still, that's 40 minutes kind of north from Stockholm. And
is your partner working now?
I still work at the Social Security Agency, and Hannah is working at a pharmacy. So that's
Right.
what we do.
And can you tell us a little bit what social distancing looks like in Sweden?
I'm sorry, what?
What does social distancing?
Yes, that was my answer. Yes.
Yeah. I know. Right.
Yeah, because
Sweden is the crazy country that doesn't.
Yes,
really,
we are. We don't. Well, we have social distancing. We try to keep in mind that, not stand close to each other at stores and stuff like that. But we still go out. People still go to restaurants, and we pretty much, we do as we did before. We're just conscious about it. We wash our hands. We try to keep like good hygiene and stuff going, but we haven't shut down that much. Like schools, I think like the lower grades, they're shut down, and they are working from home. But most companies are still up and running. Companies where it's where you're able to work from home, like my company, or well, the Social Security Agency, and Hannah's company. She's able to work at home, so she's allowed to work at home, or she's rather encouraged to work at home. And that's how we try to minimize contact. But there's no order from the government to stay at home or to do something. It's up to ourselves.
Just to give people a little bit of context, because I think it's important. The number of people who died in Sweden until now is 2,192. There's about 8 million people in Sweden. Right?
9.
9. Israel, which is slightly less, is 199 dead. Norway and Denmark are at 400 and 200. So this strategy, as weird as it sounds, and everybody would say, oh, you really didn't hurt your economy, you have like 6 times more people dead than in your neighbors.
Yes. Well, what they're saying is that those fuckers would die anyway. Kind of.
It's Belgium. We have 11 million people, and we have over 6,000 confirmed. Well, not confirmed. Over 6,000 deaths, of which around 3,200 have been tested and really diagnosed with COVID. All the others are in elderly homes that have died and had a cough, and they were registered as being COVID, but they're not. But still, we have over 3,000 something confirmed COVID deaths on 11 million people, and we have kind of a full lockdown. So
yeah,
doesn't seem to make that big of a difference.
What they're saying here is that if you have a lockdown, when you release the lockdown, you're going to get the same effect. So you're just prolonging it, and we're trying to deal with it right away. That's kind of what they're saying.
Yeah, somebody said, I think it was Claudia, when we're back to normal, I think we're not going to get back to normal. That's the thing. If we stop the lockdown, it's not going to be as it was before. And I think some people are not aware of it yet. I think that's what Johan says. If we don't change significantly, it'll hit just as it did in Sweden. So there won't be a normal. It'll be totally different than it was before.
Unless the vaccine pops up.
It's impossible to vaccine this, guys. It's like the flu. Like it changes. I personally think, I'm not a scientist, but they'll say the same with the flu. The vaccine for the flu is based off of last year's strain. They can never predict, and I think that's what COVID's going to keep doing. It's going to keep changing like it has,
Yeah, that's what they're saying here as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've been living with the flu as well, and there's more in Germany. There's more people dying of the flu than of COVID.
I have never known anybody to ever die from the flu ever, and the fact that I've lost as many friends as I have within the last month is baffling. So that to me shows me just my own statistics that
But in Denmark, about 1,500 people die every year from the so-called normal flu.
Yes.
And in Denmark, every day, 150 people die from cancer. And so far, we have 400 and something deaths with COVID. And they don't say that the death reason is COVID. They say this number of people have died with the disease. So we're not actually sure if that's the actual cause of death, but this is maybe semantics.
But I think that the main thing is really not the number of people who are dead, who died until now or will die. The main thing is simply identifying what is the capacity in each country's health system to withstand death over time. So as long as you're maintaining a reasonable level, and one of them could be the ICU beds, or it could be beds per 100,000 people, but as long as you get that right, you can end up with the Swedish model. But the thing is that the Swedes are doing it without knowing that factor, that ratio between whatever that would be, that's still being discussed. So whether it's going to be the flu and whether it's going to be the flu and coronavirus come September, a lot of people are going to die. But I don't think anybody's joking or kidding themselves that they're not going to die. The question is how quick they're going to die, that your health system is not simply going to collapse and other people that have other issues will die as well, which is happening anyways, because people are not going to the hospital or not going to the A&E, and they die because of cancers, other things that are existing conditions.
We have in Germany, we had prepared all the hospitals for a lot of coronavirus people, and then they didn't show up. So the hospitals had to send people home and pay them to stay home because they didn't have enough work for them at the hospital. So it was totally upside down. It's totally crazy because we have so many places for COVID people now in the hospital, and we sent people with cancer and other diseases home and said, you have to reschedule your surgery because it's not going to happen. So it's really odd, and what we don't know is what's happening, what the side effects are. We have more people killing themselves. We have homeless people that are not taken care of. We have other diseases we have people with heart attack symptoms that don't go to the doctors because they're scared to go to the doctor or to the hospital. So I think it's to a certain degree, it gets really odd because there's so many people that are not taken care of just because we're focusing on the COVID situation, which is not as bad here in Germany as they thought it is. And now politicians are kind of arguing or opening up the people's mindsets, saying, we have to be really really gentle with people because people might have done a wrong decision. So they're kind of preparing, I feel they're preparing us to the news that, hey, we thought it would be much worse, but it wasn't, or we're really good prepared in Germany. I don't know. It's, for me, sometimes it seems really, really odd what we're doing. We're killing our economy. And
the problem is that for any government or any decision maker on this, there is a 2 or 3 week wait.
Yes.
So that any measure you take now to prepare anything and to separate people and so forth, you'll only know if that worked 2, 3, 4 weeks. So nobody really dares to open completely because you don't know if you'll have an Italy, Spain situation in 4, 5, 6 weeks. And like Ido says, what's the capacity of the hospitals? It's true that lots of beds are not filled with other patients now, but if you let go, what will happen in... Lene, du skal slukke din lyd.
Here in Houston, what's going on here in Houston, as Houston is very well known of having the best hospitals in the world. So it's literally a huge city. The medical center here in Houston is tremendous big. So what they've been doing as well here is surgeries and all of that. They totally push back. According to the mayor, say that the peak, what they call it here in Houston, is supposed to be in the next 2 weeks, because Houston hasn't reached up the peak. So they forced the hospital to reschedule all kind of surgeries to be prepared for as many COVID patients they may receive.
Yes.
But, you know, everyone is like, is it true? Is it not true? We have been in lockdown for a month and a half already. Why the peak is gonna be in the middle of next month? So it's also confusing, you know, for so many people, because I know already 8 of my friends has been infected with it, and every single one totally different. One ended up in the hospital, thank God he made it, and the other ones were able just to deal at home. So, I mean, it's too much of this new thing and little of the things that we really know, you know.
If I can add something to one of the things here, and who knows what you can believe with the media anymore, but one of the things here is we left our election open, and after we left our election open, now the last 3 days has been the highest rates that we've had, which is that 1 to 2 weeks from, you know, before you actually see what's going on. So just something to be said there. So, I mean, there is a scary part to all this, and it's, you know, it's the older people like my family and my wife's family that we're not even going to see them. We're totally isolating ourselves from them simply because they're the ones that are going to get hurt the worst from this if it does go on. Something else now, just because I have to say that, I saw Johan is back on, and Journey and Jaden are great friends of Johan. Johan's been here a couple of times and visited with us, and we were supposed to actually go to Sweden here in a few weeks. And we've canceled that, so my boys wanted to say hi.
Oh, hi, guys.
Say hi.
Hi. I miss you all.
I miss you too.
So now we can go back to the meeting, but we had to add that little part in there. Sorry.
I just want to say, John, I know that the issue with Wisconsin I mean, I don't think a lot of people know what happens there, but there was a situation where the governor was at loggerhead with the legislature, and the legislature actually changed or forced him to have the primaries, I think it was Tuesday, 2 weeks ago, even though the government actually wanted, for the benefit of the health of the citizens of Wisconsin, to delay it like many other states. And yet they forced people to go and vote simply because obviously the Republicans think they're going to be able to win by forcing it through. That's I don't know if you're Republican or Democrat, but my view on that would be that they didn't really play very fair. Even when he came in, they changed the rules before he became a governor.
It's an interesting one in this house when you talk Republican and Democrat, because I own a small business and my wife is a school teacher. So we are definitely in the middle of all that.
Yes, I imagine. Oh, God. All right, let's get to a few other friendly hellos as we're moving out from the COVID-19. It's such a morbid thing. Sandra, again in the sun, and we have a little kid there.
Hello. This is my daughter, Elena. Do you want to say hi?
Hi.
I had to go outside. It's such a beautiful day, and we've had snow like for the last 2 weeks. I've been dying for some heat, and so yeah, that's why I'm out here. And so
can you show us your surrounding? Can you move around and show us?
I can. Okay. Okay. This is my backyard and my hot tub.
Oh, can we come?
We're all coming. Anytime. And my family in the background, they're hiding kind of. Except for my daughter. Yeah. And then we have a forest in the backyard behind us. So yeah.
Wow.
That's it. We're happy.
How are you doing? Have you been the last 2 weeks?
We've been okay. Like I said, the weather's been making it harder to get through this. And today was a nice relief. So just getting outside for a change of scenery, and apparently in Canada the curve is flattening, as they say. We're just still waiting though, because cases are still happening. So in my city in Peterborough, Ontario, there are 66 cases, I think, and there's been only 1 death since April 9th or something. I forget exactly, but yeah. And so they're thinking it's getting better here. So we're just waiting to hear some more specific things for the lifting the restrictions gradually. They're thinking the parks and the outdoor things happening first, so we'd be able to go out and camping and things like that first, golfing, and then waiting, a couple weeks to see how that goes before they lift some more restrictions. That's about it.
Does anybody want a tip?
Everyone.
Yeah, she's got a
Yes,
big
Tamara.
personality. So yeah, we're just still doing our homeschooling. I'm a teacher, so doing that, juggling with my kids' homeschooling as well at home. And my husband's working upstairs at a job he usually doesn't do at home. So it's a nice change to have everyone here to kind of help out. That's about it.
Okay. Let's hear an update from well, Allan. We haven't spoken to today.
Yes. So
you have a new acquisition in the house.
Yes, my son got an Oculus Quest virtual reality glasses. So we're playing with that. Can I just say that the big issue now that schools have started in Denmark, 1st to 5th grade, is the washing hands. They wash their hands 10 to 12 times in a 5-6 hour span, and all the kids' hands are literally drying out and getting cracks, and it's a big issue. But I guess some lotion will help with that. Can I share a screen with people, Ido?
Yeah.
Is that possible? Because I want to show you, everybody is saying I live this and that city and I have no clue about geographics, but I just want to show you what's about 10 minutes drive from my house. So
at the bottom of your screen,
yeah,
you will see share screen.
All right. So this place is one of the castles next to my house. It's where Hans Christian Andersen wrote part of The Ugly Duckling, if you've heard that story. And this one is the newest thing close to our house. It's 45 meters tall. It takes about half an hour to walk all the way up there. And I hope that if any of you visit us, we can take you to that place. It's really, really awesome. And like Claudia was saying, people are probably out there in the forest much more now because we have time and because we want to get in touch with nature and all of that. And this last one here is oh well, never mind. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen now. Things are great here. A good friend of mine, Ido, might be you, told me to make the best of this time that we have. So I bought a guitar. It's my second guitar, but but I wanted a new one. And I've begun to watch more German television, and actually my wife is making me watch French television too, because why not work on some language skills while we have the time? For those of you who are new and I haven't talked to for a long time, I have 2 kids, son 14, daughter 11. I'm married, and both my wife and I work at home. I work at City Hall as a communications consultant for the mayor and the City Hall in general. And we have spring here. It's great. A lot of people in Copenhagen are idiots. They can't figure out how to social distance themselves. So now the police are closing off big areas to make sure that people don't gather. But other than that, things are going great. And I'm not, of course I'm worried about world economy, but I think we'll come back. We'll bounce back. That's all from here.
Allan, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Are you still working on that walk this year, or is it also cancelled in
The cancer event is cancelled. Yes.
Oh, what a shame.
Yes.
I would walk with you because it's cancelled up here. So I thought I would go to Haslo.
We will do our cancer walkathon and make lots of money next year, Lene.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yes.
We will do that.
How far are you guys living from one another?
45 minutes, I think. An hour, maybe?
An hour,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to meet. We don't like each other that much.
No.
I'm just kidding. I love Lene, but
we saw each other last year at the Haslo.
We do occasionally meet each other at festivals and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Tell us more about the Danish humor. I didn't know there was this Danish humor thing.
We love each other. Just to clear up all misunderstandings.
Love each other. That's a big word, Allan.
I think that's the American way of saying.
I was gonna say
we're good friends.
Yeah, he's from Sweden.
All right, let's go and see how the situation is in Mexico with our newlywed.
Yes.
Congratulations.
How are you doing?
And celebration.
Well, I'm doing fine. Just celebrating my 6th week honeymoon at home. Let me see if I can work this. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see if I can just share real quick a picture. Here. Let's see if you
can. Be careful that you don't switch to porn, Jorge.
To what?
Don't switch to porn.
That will be me.
The things that Allan worry about.
See if you can see that picture.
Hey. So what's his name? Tony, was it?
My husband's name is. He's an architect.
What's his name again?
Sergio.
Sergio. Oh yeah.
Now I don't know how to turn this picture off.
At the top, you need to press the green thing.
Oh, let's see. Oh,
there we go. I'm putting you back.
And yeah, we got married this March. And we both work at the same university, so we are very fortunate that we are able to work from home. But about the situation in Mexico, well, as some of you may know, we're having a new president for the last year, and this is a populist, as many of Latin American countries are following this complicated school of government. And the situation here is very uncertain because we don't really know what really is going on. The government says that the cases of COVID patients are very low, but on the other hand, we have a lot of people dying of pneumonia. So we just think that the government is hiding the real numbers. They don't want to test people. So the only thing we can do now is just to stay home. The school year will end virtual, like working remote. And they are saying that we may be able to start to go out by June. So it takes for at least another month for us to stay home. And I guess that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all. See you.
Can
all.
I ask a question, Ido?
Yes, jump in.
Actually, for anybody, why do they say that flus and maybe also this virus will become less of an issue when it's warm, and yet you see countries that actually have warm climate, people are dying in the hundreds? I don't understand. Does anybody know?
It's because of.
Well, actually, just the other day, if some of you have heard Donald Trump ridiculous advice, which I am sure we all have heard, that came out from the fact that there was a research that said that in temperature that are high and in exposure to light, on surfaces, the virus stays less, much less. That's about it. But it has nothing to do.
There's way more to it. There's way more to it. There are.
Okay, Mr. Rule here is going to rule me over. There we go.
Yes, I am. There's a few types of flu, actual flu, that are very seasonal, and that's something that you see very much here in Belgium, and also in both in the sickness rates as in mortality rates, is that there is a higher number of diseasing with flu in winter time when it's colder. It's like a 3 or 4 month period that starts in October and ends around March, where you'll have significantly more cases of the flu. But that's just for a specific flu, and nobody knows if Corona has the same features as that type of seasonal flu that we have here. So there are some diseases that are seasonal, but for Corona, nobody knows yet because there haven't been any seasons yet.
But I'm saying for coronavirus, the research that Trump saw or was hearing about at that conference that they were saying was about specifically Corona and exposure to heat and light. However, between that and drinking bleach or injecting something like that, that's just, that's the prerogative of the President of the United States to know better than all of us.
Iro,
Yeah,
can you hear me? It's Julio.
Yeah, is that Julio? Yeah.
Okay. He was a little.
He was sarcastic.
He has a little. No. He was sarcastic, but he has. I mean, what he said. I mean, is a little bit of a truth. And for example, this shit works for facial, and it works amazing. I'm kidding.
Julio, you had me really worried for a minute.
Trust me.
I thought you lost it, Julio. I really thought you lost it.
I
gotta go, guys.
Though, Julio.
Okay, go for it.
You mentioned earlier that in Houston, mouth masks are going to be mandatory. Are they readily available?
Yes, it started on Monday. Monday is going to be mandatory for the whole city of Houston.
Are they readily available? Can you get them? Because here you just can't get them. There aren't any. All the web shops even are blocked.
No, we are able to get it. I mean, they're not requiring the medical mask, anything that can just cover your face. So people who are not going to be able to have a medical mask, they can just cover it with a bandana or something. Okay. But the idea is everyone to wear a mask somehow.
We have to wear masks from Monday too. So
as a mandatory?
Yes.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I mean,
it's gonna be very tricky. It's gonna be very tricky, I guess, because they even say that if you have to wear the mask in your car when you're driving by yourself or with your kids.
That's
so absurd. How the cops are gonna control that? How they're gonna be giving you a fine if you're not wearing the mask? So we'll see how it goes.
That's quite absurd because here you get punished if you wear it in your car.
You see?
Really?
Yeah, you're not allowed to wear it in your car. I mean, that's absurd too. Why should you wear it in your car when you're sitting there? I mean,
well, it is the same thing that everybody around the world was washing hands in their home. I mean, if you're washing your hand once you arrived home and now you're clean, why do you need to wash your hands again and again in your home? Your home is obviously clean. Beyond me.
Also,
one thing for sure is all of this is so new for everybody. So if the government is forcing you to wear a mask 24/7, I mean, it's gonna be impossible. It's gonna be impossible. But we can just do our best. I mean, I have my mask. I go to work and I don't wear the mask inside the office because we're only 3 people and our offices has really good separation from one to the other. But as soon as I leave the office and if I need to go to the store or a bank or gas station, I have to have the mask on.
That is really strange because in Sweden they're telling us that the masks have virtually no effect whatsoever.
In Norway as well.
Yeah.
And Denmark.
The reason is that
Denmark.
when you have the
Wow.
mask on, you correct it, you touch your face and stuff like that more actually than if you wouldn't have the mask.
The only thing it does.
Not only
it
that,
protects
the mask
others.
needs to be replaced. The mask needs to be
It
replaced
has
because
to
it
be
gets dirty.
replaced, and since it's a virus that it can actually get stuck in the mask and make it more like virulent, so you can get sick easier.
We had some mask experience today that I'd love to share. Because we've been wearing the mask before when we were shopping and stuff, or using public transportation, we would put on a mask. So Klaus was he was like, we have to clean this mask. How do we do this? Because, I mean, you really have to keep it clean so you don't get whatever infection through the mask. So I said, oh, my aunt said, just put it in the microwave for 30 seconds and then the virus will be dead. So he put it in the microwave and he walked away and he came back and it was burning. It was just going up in flames. So the first mask went up in flames today. We're like,
the virus.
Guys, I gotta go. I have to go pick up Steve. Great seeing you, everyone.
Bye, Julio.
See you around.
Bye, Julio.
Bye.
All right, let's move to a few people that didn't speak today, like your sister. Come on, say a few words.
Hey guys. Been good here. It's just listening. Interesting how everybody's in different places. Here in Colorado, tomorrow or Monday, they're going to lift a lot of the restrictions so that a lot of the businesses are able to open up again. And a lot of people are not happy with that because it's just going to extend the problem. Schools are still out for the rest of the school year. Looking at summer schools programs and activities probably going to be out too, but they're opening small businesses for the economy. So we'll see how that goes. I'm still planning to stay home. What I am excited about is that they're going to be opening for elective surgeries because I got gallstones that have been causing me a lot of pain. So, yeah. So, and I went to the ER last week and they told me that I'm not emergency enough for a surgery, so they send me back home. So I either have to wait until it bursts and it gets worse, or until they open up again. So hopefully next week I'll be able to get some surgery. But other than that, again, just staying home. Oh, and then since I was in the emergency room, they told me that I had to really quarantine for the next 2 weeks, which I have been doing, but then I haven't looked outside the door for a week, pretty much. Other than that, things are good. Just keeping busy with teaching high school, still online and helping out students, and homeschooling our 7-year-old daughter. Jake is at home as well because he's a theater director, so they cancel all the theater programs for the schools. So he's also been staying home and just trying to stay sane as much as possible. And this is a great way to do that. Seeing you all.
Thank you. Good update. And there's someone that joined us that we didn't hear at all yet, and that is you. Hi, Heidi.
Hello. Hi, friends.
How are you doing? How you been?
Good. I'm sorry I'm late. I actually left the house. I've got paint on my hands because we left the house today. I drove the car for the first time in like 5 weeks. My daughter is she rides horses, and they invited some of the people to come out and stay 6 feet apart and wear masks and paint some fences and hang out with the horses. And so I said, I'm in. I got to get out of here. So that's where I was, and I was trying to get back sooner, but my daughter was videotaping the horses, and it doesn't matter. I'm here now. I got paint on my hands, and I'm happy to be with you. Yeah.
How you been since you last saw you? Anything new? How you been since we last spoke to you 2 weeks ago?
Well, we got this Peloton, so I'm on that all the time.
Oh.
If anybody has one, I'll bike with you.
It's, just so I explain, this is something really big in the United States. Very
Well,
big.
no, well, my favorite instructor's in London. So there.
I see Seth Meyers and Trevor Noah. They make jokes of that, which I had to actually Google to understand what they're talking about.
It's just a bike that you can ride with anybody around the world. So, yeah. I don't know. We're surviving like the rest of you. I love hearing all the updates and, our crazy president. My husband was joking, because a while back the kids were eating Tide Pods. All the high school kids, it was like a thing to eat Tide Pods. I don't get it. And my husband's like, I guess they were onto something. We were supposed to be eating Tide Pods. It's like a laundry.
You're talking about the washing machine things.
Exactly. So
that's a challenge that was there last year, and warning people that they're going to die if they do that. But then again, if the president says that's good for you, who knows?
So there you go. Yeah, so we're going to be filling up the emergency rooms with people drinking Clorox. I don't know. I don't know.
As long as they're Republican.
Oh, gosh, I don't even know. So, yeah, I'm still in, I live down the street from Bertha, which I think they extended. I don't think they're going to open for another week now until like the 8th. And our big issue here, so I live right at the base of the mountain where everybody hikes. So everybody was hiking. This probably is in a lot of your countries, and where now everybody's so close all on the hiking trails because it's the only place they can go. And so they were talking about closing the hiking trails, and people were, I think they were going to go a little mentally insane, but then it dumped a bunch of snow on us. So they didn't close them, and now they're still open, but I don't know how it's going to go down exactly. I don't know. Yeah, I'm surviving, staying home, taking care of the 4th grader's the hardest one because I have to help her with school. But my husband's an airline pilot, which I think many of you may know, and he's taken leave. And now he's taken leave all the way through August, actually. It's like a paid leave, but obviously nothing close to what he was making, but I'm happy to have him home and safe. And yeah.
Heidi?
Yeah.
Heidi? Is your mother still in?
She is in Mexico, and we thought about going to join her a couple of weeks ago. We just didn't know exactly how that would happen, if we could actually get across the border, but she is. Yeah.
Is she doing well?
She's doing great. She's in a gated community. Everybody has to wear masks, and they can only let certain people in where she's living. But even to get into the town, you have to prove that you own a house to get into the town where she lives. So she was going to meet us, at the entrance and see if she could get us in. But I don't know. It's like you think it's a good idea, and then reality sits in, and you think, maybe we're better off just to stay where we're at. But yeah, she's in Mexico.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
A few more faces we didn't speak today, well, we did hear you, but we didn't hear from you any updates. How are you doing?
Hey, Jack. Hey. Oh, it's so awesome to see all your beautiful souls. And I love just thinking that we are, across the world. We're spread it across the world, to think that our goodness is sprinkled everywhere. So awesome to see all your faces and hear your voices. Like someone said, just hearing your voices is just a sweet melody for sure. So, but I spoke last time, I'm in San Diego. Right now I'm in Arizona taking care of my parents who are older and compromised. So I've been here for about, since the middle of March. And I've seen a lot of you on the road years ago when I worked for Tony Robbins, who's a motivational speaker, and was able to travel. I traveled internationally quite a bit and saw many of you. And now I only do national travel. So now I got to start marking off the list. I really don't have an excuse. I've been with my current company for 11 years. So, and there's very few of you I've seen across the nation, but I do events and certainly fly a lot still for work. So I am not married, been with my boyfriend for crazy 19 years. We are a magical 13 miles apart. We don't live together. see him because I haven't seen him. I don't see him every day. So, but we've been, almost 20 years this coming September. And I adore him and we have a lot of fun. But yeah, come and see me in San Diego. There's lots to do there. You can see Robin. I mean, there's a whole gang of us in Southern California, and Dan, and we'll have to do a little get together if you come out our way to California. So, but yeah, things are good.
Good to see you again. And on the other side,
can I ask
yeah,
Mike
yeah,
a
yeah.
question? I want to know why they can't wear the mask when you drive. I asked my husband, he just walked by and he goes, oh, duh, so they don't suffocate while they're driving.
We're not supposed to wear the mask? Because if you hit a red light or something, I mean, you're disguised. They can tell.
Oh, I see. Well, I think it's silly too. Like I see our neighbors, I'm like, why are they wearing their masks in their car? Like I don't get it. But then I didn't know why you would get a ticket for that.
You know what?
Is when they're alone and they're wearing a mask.
What I really loved recently, I ordered new furniture for Lily's room at the IKEA web shop, since IKEA stores are closed. But and then they make you drive there and hit a parking spot, and you sit there in your car and you have to call them and tell them, I'm here and this is my order number and all that stuff. And then they bring you the stuff and you have to put your ID next to the window. You're not allowed to open the window, but you stick your ID there. And then the guy nods that you're the right person and then he leaves your stuff there. I thought it was just ridiculous. But I was also amazed how quickly IKEA adapted to the needs. I mean, they want to make business, so they really cleared up their parking spots and put little slots, numbered slots where you can park your car, and then they bring you the stuff. It was really odd, but on the other hand, I think it's really cool how business owners adapt to the needs.
Okay.
Can I just say, because I actually have to run, but you know, another thing that I've been dealing with here is this is actually funny. Is Jorge still here? Or
yeah.
Jorge, oh, there he is. And but it was Julio's. I'm sorry, it was Julio's that was talking about his father. But my mother and her partner, they moved into a senior living facility or whatever. So they've been in a senior living facility, and then my father, who she's been divorced from however many years, community, they're a floor apart, but they, which is like, oh, my mom and her lesbian lover who she had an affair with on my father for 35 plus years now live in the same senior community together, and they're on lockdown together, and they've been locked in the same building together, which has just been a trip to say the least.
Interesting.
It has been very interesting, but you know, I mean, they get along enough now, and it's like, you know, but the fact that my father just turned 83, and you know, he has essentially a lesbian ex-wife and her wife living in the same house. My sister's gay, my other sister's gay. So you talk about progress, right? But he's had, you know, like they shut them down and they lock them down, but they cannot leave their physical apartments. So you're talking about 83-year-olds and younger, but you're talking about people that they can't go out. And I think at this point it's been, I don't even remember. It's been since March 13th. They've been in their apartments, not able to leave the physical apartment. So, you know, that's been pretty taxing for them. But, you know, my friend works at another community, and some of you may have even actually heard about it in the news in New Jersey. They had gotten a tip that there was bodies being stored in a storage shed from this nursing home. And when they got there, they had 17 bodies in one.
Oh my gosh.
Morgue that was made for 4, and they had 17, and they literally had nowhere else to put them.
but those are the communities that this is hitting, you know? And so it's like, I was on the side initially where I thought a lot of this was somewhat like, okay, we need germs, like as humans, we need germs, you know, to kind of help combat. But when it started hitting us here and the reality started hitting more, you know, these are the communities that are the most compromised, and it ravaging them. A bunch of the communities here in the United States, I'm assuming overseas as well, but you know, so that one facility that my friend works at, they now have had, I don't want to misquote, but I know it was at least 37 deaths in just like a 2-week time period. So yeah, that's kind of been the other huge stress, I think, for me in my life here is, you know, is just being so scared for them, you know, because you can't go to them. You can't, if here in the States, and this has happened with a few of my friends now, you can't go say goodbye. You can't be by their side. If somebody has it and they're passing away from it, like if my mom gets it or if that building gets it, I'm not allowed in there, you know, to go, you know, sorry. So
I
that,
just want to switch to one person who didn't speak to today, which is Mixo, if you don't mind. Sorry, it has taken a long time, but there
Fine.
you are.
It's fine. Hi, everybody. It's great to see you again. Hi, Mixo. Hi. Yes, I told you last time. I still live in Helsinki, in Finland. I have 3 kids, 14, 12, and 6, 2 boys and 1 girl, and has been married for 18 years. But what else? I'm working at a gymnastic club as what would you call it? The chief for the operations, or like the chief for the club, and it's a lot of fun. Of course, we don't do gymnastics now, but still, or we do it actually online. We have been very good at moving out online. About COVID, I have to say that I think it's really interesting to think about the fact that it depends so much on what kind of country it comes to. I mean, like Belgium, that's 10 times smaller than Finland, but has the double the population. So of course, I'm not an expert, but I think it's quite obvious that probably that's one of the reasons why it has been quite bad there. There are lots more people. Of course, the same in New York City. And then also the fact that like in the south of Europe, usually, at least we think that people are more social, and also the younger people are more with the elderly than we might be here up north. And it's also been said that like Germans and Finnish people are pretty much the same, talking about the social thing. We are not so very warm, or you know. So, and I think when this COVID goes from one person to another, if you are not in contact with everybody, you won't get it. So it's a bad thing to think that because you are a person that are closer to other, like physically, then it's much worse for those countries. So when we don't know so much about the virus, every country should have done their own decisions how to, because we should have known more about like taking these things into consideration, that we don't have so many people here in Finland. Maybe we should have done things differently. Now we have a little under 200 dead. Our schools are still online. We are checking, I guess, how Norway and Denmark are doing. The 3rd of May, they will decide about the future here. Will our schools open or not? So that's how it is here. Otherwise, it's getting more like spring here, so it's very nice. And I also went to our summer cottage today, just back and forth. It's close to Helsinki, so it was nice to go to the island.
Nice.
How far is that from your from Helsinki?
It's about an hour, but it's a small island. It's only our cottage on the island.
How do you get to the island? Do you have a boat to go
Well,
into the island?
yeah. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So
Cool.
great to see you, Mixo.
It's great to see you all.
Do you have children, or who are you living with? Who's at home with you right now?
They are at home with me, yeah. They're 14, the oldest is 14, his name is Nelson, and then we have Kasper who is 12, and Rebecca is, in May, she's getting 7.
Okay.
Thanks.
That's about
Happy
done,
birthday, though.
everyone.
Happy birthday from yesterday.
Oh, thank you very much. Friday, yeah, it was my 52nd birthday. Yeah, I guess I'm the last one to speak. So I guess I don't look all that bad. I look at myself here, HD. It looks pretty okay for a 52-year-old. Being the old geezer.
Do you want us to
that
take
I
a
am.
vote?
You
Should we do a
look great,
polling, Ito? Should we do a polling?
How old does he look like? So for the benefit of people who didn't, yeah.
Can I show how good shape you are?
You want to what?
Can I show how in good shape you are?
Oh, you have a picture?
Yeah, let me see if I can put this.
What is he showing? Oh, from the reunion, maybe. Oh, that. Yes, definitely a highlight of the reunion. So,
yes, that was.
I am so happy that I have what they call the patent on that show, on the Crazy Show, because nobody else does this. It's absolutely mind-boggling. You wait 5 years to meet everyone, and then yeah, you kiss, yeah, be time and all that, but then you want to do something creative together. What better than get drunk and do World in Motion all over again with all the fuck-ups that you think, well, obviously you'll be doing. So that is such a good idea that this reunion, again, we were able to take the other 3 cast, because Cast E wasn't there. So E and D joined us, and was it A? And joined us to do this really. So I always say you have to come wearing ridiculous clothes. And this costume that you saw there is from The Wizard of Oz, which just happened to be something I was wearing on a cruise, a gay cruise, where you're supposed to wear some costumes all the time. So I was just reusing my wardrobe, just about it. So I live in London for the last 15 years. I moved here in 2005. I left Israel in 2003. If you remember, I studied law before up with people. I practiced, I practiced for a little bit and I really hated it. So I moved into IT, and that is pretty much the center of what I do, although I apply IT in different sectors. So in Israel, I did it in high tech. And then in 2003, I moved to Holland to do an MBA there for 1.5 years. And then in 2005, I graduated. And at that time, the United Kingdom basically had a change in the immigration policy, very different to what it is now, which was that if you graduated from the top 20 MBA schools in the world, you basically get, here you go, a visa, come work in our country. So I moved into London and has been here ever since. I work in banking and managed to carve myself a little niche where I code things in a language that very few people know, but that allows me to basically stay in the bank until they have to basically ask me to leave, but to give it to somebody else. And what I'm pretty much saying is that I have a pretty solid thing that I do, and nobody's going to say goodbye to me anytime soon because they need this for the regulators and all that bullshit. Outside that, I live in East London, about 20 minutes from the West End and from, if you come to London, where all the shows happen. I live alone in a 2-bedroom flat that I moved here 7 years ago. It's on the 4th floor, but I have a very nice terrace and another extra bedroom. If somebody wants to come and visit me in London, you're always invited. Very few people have taken it up over the years, so by all means, you're invited. Just not all together at once.
I saw you.
Apart from that, I am the vice chair of the London Gaming Chorus, which I've been in the choir for 5 years, and I've been doing the vice chairmanship for 2 years, which means that I'm producing the shows and I'm doing the negotiations with venues and I do the budget. And then I end up doing things like this with them, which is the reason why I've got the Zoom for over 100 people, and that's why we're not cut after 40 minutes, because I'm using the license of the choir. Thank you very much, the London Gamers Chorus, for making Up With People Zoom meetings work. Apart from that, I'm single. Although everybody seems to be, you know, except sorry, Wenche. I think Wenche is maybe the single one now at the moment. So I am dying to have a boyfriend, but I don't need to tell the women in the world how difficult it is to find the right guy, because guys tend to be, well, complicated and difficult and not very trustworthy. And yes, all the things that
like,
all the people
speak my
see here.
language.
What? Sorry, Jen?
Stephanie's like, yep, speaking my language.
Like that. And I can say the same thing. There's Meike, there is, I don't even remember all the people that got divorced, but we have plenty of divorcees in this group. And I live in London. London has a lot of gay people from all around the world, but the problem is that the more you have of something, the more people think, oh, there is somebody else better around the corner. So it's pretty much like a rat race trying to get the best. I don't know, I gave up. So my ex-boyfriend, the last one and the most serious one, is in Israel. His name is Cedric. I've met him 11 years ago and we're still very, very close. He went back to Israel about 6 years ago, and we're very close, but he doesn't want to live here, and I definitely don't want to live in Israel. And that's it pretty much. At 52, I mean, I'm only 18 years from 70. And that is the reason why I pretty much enjoy the fact that for 52, things are pretty okay. And that's it. That's my spiel.
Well, we appreciate you, Ido, and all that you do to help us stay together.
Well, every time we do this, I'm like, are you sure you want me to talk all this and be the host and all that? Because I'm more than happy to make somebody else host. But I do appreciate, well, I don't see this really as attention for me. It's more like I'm simply doing it for all of you, on behalf of you, and giving every one of us the chance to speak and vocalize where we are in life. I think as we're moving, if we're actually going to do this on a regular basis, we probably would need to move away from updates, but probably do it around maybe subjects that we are going to discuss, maybe children, or finding the best yogurt, Greek yogurt in your supermarket. I have no specific need to dictate the subject. I think the best thing is that we kind of have a poll and people make, you know, you can just, you know what, I'll do that. I'll create a way for everyone to chip in and come up with a subject. And next time we'll meet, there'll be a 10-minute conversation about the chosen subjects. How's that?
Very nice.
Great idea.
Great idea.
Thank you,
Thank you so much, Ido, for everything.
Hi, everyone.
Who said hi?
Thank you. Oh,
Hi,
I
John.
love you, all of you. Just to think it up with people. Half of the people hated me, and now not so much.
Ido,
I do have to say,
I know.
you do an awesome job with that.
I had an issue. If you remember, I had an issue with Jen. I had an issue with Mike. I was like the troublemaker. I don't know if you know this, but before we went on the road, I refused to sign the rights that we were giving to Up With People to use our image and our.
Oh, we remember.
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember.
Forget
Remember that?
Yeah.
So I went all the way up to Lynn Morris and the lawyer in LA and have a 2-hour conversation telling this fuckhead from Israel why I need to actually sign this. And I said, well, okay, I'll sign it with, fine. I did sign it in the end. As you would go, I went on the road. But to this day, they all remember me in Denver because of that. So
nice. We all appreciate you, Ido. Thank you.
Yes.
Yep,
yes.
indeed.
Thank you all.
So wonderful to see everyone.
Yes.
Nice to see everyone.
Gotta go.
Any last words before we close it?
Until
No?
next time.
Until next
Big
time.
hug.